Okay, so I saw this on Twitter. It said who released the best sixth album, and I really thought that I'd done this video before, and I checked, and apparently I haven't. And so, cutting to the chase, Mariah Carey Butterfly. I feel like I talk about this album every single week on my channel. So to put it succinctly, very personal album for her. Wrote all the songs in it. Amazing songwriter. Butterfly, the song is like one of my favorite Mariah Carey songs, and even her saying "Spread your wings and prepare to fly, for you have become a butterfly" is beautiful. The background singers. Some of my other favorite songs in the year. I love Breakdown. Outside, 4th of July as well, Baby Doll. Yeah, incredible album. Listen to it if you haven't already. Vocal layering is insane. Songwriting and production. Yeah, she ate. And so that's my favorite out of all these. If I had to kind of round it out, give you top 3 or top 5, then second, I would say Janet Jackson, The Velvet Rope. That and Butterfly are probably like my 2 favorite albums of all time. Like, I remember whenever I listened to The Velvet Rope for the first time, it really blew me away. And so some of my favorite songs on here, You is actually very underrated. People don't talk about that song enough. What About was one about domestic violence, which is one that I really enjoyed. And I also can appreciate stuff like Got Till It's Gone with Q-Tip and what he was able to do. I Get Lonely, I said before, I think that it's one of the best R&B songs to ever be recorded, and what she was able to do was just phenomenal. Shout out to her, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. Together Again was a smash hit. And that was basically just her paying tribute to her friends who unfortunately passed away with AIDS. And so it was kind of like a celebration of life type of song. So I can appreciate the way that she went about it. I love Special, the song, because it's really just encompassing the album, because she's basically saying we can't forget about our past and try to push it away. And that's what she had to realize with this album, and that she had to kind of talk about the things that were difficult in her childhood and life and things that made her uncomfortable. And so I just think that that is a beautiful piece on this album. And yeah, there's no skips on this album for me, really. I just think that it's a very strong album with all that alternative R&B. And so a lot of people would not be doing what they're doing if not for Janet Jackson Velvet Rope, that's all I'm saying. And so I'm gonna make this like a top 4, I think, honestly, because it's like, I really love Lemonade by Beyonce. I think that's an excellent album. Some of my favorites on here, I definitely have to give it to Sorry. That's so much fun, especially that bridge. And I think that Daddy Lessons is probably the best song on the album. I love Sandcastles, and I learned years later that I'm only the only people who actually goes up for it, unfortunately, but y'all just tasteless. And there's also some great stuff like All Night, Love Drought. I mean, it's a very strong album about, you know, the infidelity that happened in her marriage. And, you know, we don't see this vulnerable side of Beyonce often. And I just really enjoyed it, and the soundscape, especially songs like Don't Hurt Yourself. That's one that actually really grew on me a lot. So that's 3. Number 4, I would have to give it to Britney Spears, Circus. A lot of y'all sleep on Circus. I've been said it. It's one of her best albums, and one day you guys will realize this. Because when you give me a song like Blur, how can I deny the brilliance out of this? I love her version of Out From Under. That's always been one of my favorites on this album. And another song that I really go out for on this album is Unusual You. That is one of my favorite Britney Spears songs of all time. I think I put that top 3 or top 4 because I did a video and I shared my like top 10 Britney Spears songs of all time on my main channel. I'll link it below in the description if you want to watch it. But I go so hard for that song. It just feels very different from a lot of the stuff that she's done, and it's so cool. And then you also have a song like If You Seek Amy, for example. Shattered Glass was a really good song on this album, though. She had great songs on this album. Great songs on this album. And so we need to give 10s for what she did. Because releasing Blackout and Circus back to back, people try that. People try their careers to do what she did with those 2 albums, and they fail every single time. I'm sorry, she ate. So that's my strong 4. Honorable mentions, I would definitely have to give it to Ariana Grande, Positions. I actually really enjoy that album. Some favorites, I love Shut Up, 34, 35, and I also really enjoy Positions. The song is probably my favorite song on the album, and Obvious. And then Chromatica by Lady Gaga is a really good album too. I really enjoyed Free Woman. That is probably my favorite song on the album. If it's not my favorite, it's definitely somewhere in the top 3. I really enjoyed the collaboration with Ariana Grande, Rain on Me. Like, if they were gonna do a collaboration, then it would be Rain on Me. You know, it just made a lot of sense. I thought it was a really good song, so I have to give it its 10s. And then you had some really cool stuff on here like Sour Candy, which definitely should have been a single, Enigma, A Thousand Doves, like no skips. So yeah, those are my favorite 6th albums by artists, you know, at least in this collage and everything. And so now I'm just looking at this and I'm realizing that they put Bionic by Christina Aguilera. I can't stand that album. That album was trash. And we're gonna ignore it. And so let me know what you guys think down below in the comments on all these. Like, what is your favorite 6th album? And let's kind of have that conversation there. Wait, why? I just realized they played J-Lo in this too. That's not... Anyways, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and give me your favorite and also give me your top 3, and I'd love to know like your favorite songs on each of the albums and what do you think of my picks, and let's kind of continue that conversation there.